Hey everybody, this is Adam from Archery Country in Waite Park, Minnesota. We just got into the month of March, and so that means the weather's been warming up, snow's hopefully going to melt, and 3D archery season is right around the corner. So it's time to get those bows out, get them tuned up, get those outside marks set. We're going to go over a couple arrows today that are going to be specifically built for 3D or hunting arrows that work awesome on the 3D range. 3D archery is a great way to get ready for hunting season. It's the most realistic situations available, and it's readily available here in the state of Minnesota in terms of courses. There's a lot of variety amongst the state, a lot of cool shots, and it's a great way to spend time with your friends and buddies on the weekend. We're going to go over some victory arrows, and we're going to go over some Easton arrows. We're going to start with one of the smaller diameter arrows. Now, arrow diameter size for 3D, it's going to kind of depend on the format. If you're doing like the total archery challenges, those become really popular. They're mostly held out west and in the south. It's going to be longer distance type shooting. So an arrow that's a little bit narrower in a profile, a little bit lighter overall, so you can get 100, 120 yard type distance out of them is going to be critical. One of the arrows that really fits that bill, and we have a lot of people use them for hunting as well, is going to be the Victory VAP. So this here is going to be a nice light carbon design. It's your narrowest arrow available. It's going to be a 4mm. This one here I have set up with a glue end tip. Most of them are going to have an outsert on them, so you can just screw in your practice point or broadhead. Also, since I use this one for target archery, I have a pin knock, and so a little metal bushing that's going to protect the carbon from arrow impact. So when you're shooting in groups and you're sending more arrows down range, it's going to be a nice way to protect the end of that carbon so we don't get cracks and compromise the integrity of the arrow shaft. Again, that's the Victory VAP. The next arrow we're going to look at is the RIP TKO. This is probably our most popular arrow sold here at the store. This is an awesome hunting and 3D arrow for a couple reasons. This is a 5mm size shaft. It's also going to be a nice light arrow, but it's super durable. It's going to have a thick carbon weave, hence the TKO branding. And then it's also going to come with a 50 grain outsert. Now, we can also make this with an internal insert if you don't want that snagging up on a bag target or whatever format of archery you're shooting. This 50 grain outsert is also super tough. You can also screw in a field point broadhead. Makes a pretty versatile arrow. So for somebody that doesn't want to switch back and forth, wants to shoot the distance of 100 yards, the RIP TKO is a super awesome arrow option. The next arrow is going to be a Victory V-Force. This is what we call a standard diameter type arrow. In terms of weight, it's probably going to be just a little bit heavier grain per inch than a VAP or a RIP TKO. A little bit bigger diameter arrow. These here are going to have an internal insert that are approximately 20 grains. Makes it a nice sleek arrow. A little bit bigger in size, so you might catch some more lines. If you like to do some indoor shooting as well, it's kind of a good arrow in terms of price, but also functionality. You can also take and adjust the weight of that insert with back weights, basically little threaded weights, and so you can increase that front and center weight, get to a more ideal, basically weight, depending on what you want to use it for. If you want to lighten it up, get a little bit more distance, or weight it up for hunting purposes. So those are the Victory arrows. The Eastons here, I'm going to highlight on their Super Drive series. We have two different sizes here, but there's about 5 all total. The first one we're going to highlight on is the Super Drive 19. Now this is the arrow that I'm going to be using for long distance 3D archery, field, FITA type formats. Again, it's going to be a standard size type arrow. Nice and lightweight in its design and construction, but really high tolerance type arrow. These ones here come with glue in points, so it's specifically set up for target archery. It also, again, has weights that we can thread into the back of that tip to adjust how heavy, or for tuning purposes, to get that arrow to fly optimally. I have about 130 grains in my front end here. I also have this one set up with a pin bushing as well, because I'm going to shoot this into a target that's going to get log jammed pretty easily. And I don't want to be ruining arrows. Nocks are a lot cheaper than arrow shafts and a lot easier to get right now. And so that's a Super Drive 19 from Easton. And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, this one here is going to be the Super Drive 27. Again, 3D archery depends on what type of format, sanction, the distance you're going to shoot in a wooded area or an area that's really open. and you're going to be subjected to crosswind. The Super Drive 27 here, I'm going to use in tournaments where it's known distance, 60 yards and under for sure, and I'm shooting at an animal or a target that's only going to have a couple arrows in it, because these are going to take up some space, and it's going to try and be a hard way to get into a 12 ring. That's why I put on these 150 grain, these are knock busters, ballistic tips, really nice gentle slope, so that way when they go into a crowded 12 ring, hopefully they make impact and don't want to glance off so bad, and they'll just ride their way right on in to a high score. These ones here, nice lightweight. They're just going to be a little bit heavier overall just because there's more carbon, more material, but still get adequate speeds out of them, and they're a good arrow for those that want to take it on a 3D course, but also want to shoot indoor, say a league, spots, Vegas targets, whatever it may be. So these are 5 arrow options that work great for 3D archery. If you have any questions, come on in to one of our 3 locations. We can help guide you amongst the many options for 3D archery, whether it's just for hunting or optimizing on the 3D tournament trail. Make sure to hit like and subscribe. There's going to be a lot more great videos coming out. Thank you.